Here in this video, I want to talk to you about intravaginal culture. Now, intravaginal culture is basically replacing a critical component of conventional IVF, which is the point where you bring eggs and sperm together, and then you watch the embryos develop over many days under observation. It's been proposed that you could actually mimic this if you were to let that happen inside of a carrying device that then could be carried inside the vagina. And that's what intravaginal culture is. It's replacing what we conventionally do in the laboratory in an incubator with a small device that's held inside the vagina. So I've got with me here the actual device that's marketed currently in the United States, and that's called the InvoCell. It's basically, I'll hold it up here closer to the camera, it's basically about an inch by about 1.75 inches. And it's held inside the vagina, and inside here would go eggs and sperm. So eggs and sperm are placed in here with media. They can come together and embryos can then develop over time. You are going through egg retrieval, that's the same, but then at that point, instead of walking away from the clinic and laboratory and leaving eggs and sperm there to be processed, you're actually taking them with you in this device, and you are going to hold that device for somewhere between 3 and 5 days. Now, just to quickly contrast what we typically do in a conventional IVF laboratory, we're usually working with things like this, labware, and eggs and sperm are placed inside of this, and then this is placed inside of an incubator, and then that incubator would have its environment controlled for pH, temperature, humidity, the amount of oxygen, carbon dioxide. So basically, intravaginal culture is just a replacement for this device. So why would you want to do this? The idea originally came with an effort to improve access to IVF. As you know, an IVF laboratory is very complex, and not everywhere in the world can we have access to this highly advanced technology. But it's also been proposed to be an alternative to conventional culture in the IVF laboratories. So who would this be a good match for in terms of a treatment pathway? Well, in our office, it's definitely a niche treatment procedure, and that's because in the conventional IVF laboratory, we've just gotten so good at what we do. And so this is going a little bit off of the traditional tracks, and so our expectations aren't going to be quite as high as if we say are following blastocyst culture with genetic testing of embryos. So one type of patient that would come to mind would be a very young patient who has very high quality eggs, and she's not going to pursue PGT, and she may just want to do something that works really in strong tangent to her own body. So maybe there's a little apprehension about IVF in general, and there's an interest to do something really in close concert with her own body, and this might be a device that would be a good match for that patient. Another niche use of this device that we proposed in our clinic is for lesbian couples, where they want to both participate in the process as much as possible together. And we have used these devices so that each partner can hold one of these devices at the same time, originating from one of the partner's eggs, but they can both go through the fertilization process in the initial stages of embryo development. So there's a strong bond for both partners for the group of these embryos that they've now made together. And as they move forward, they will both have participated in the very earliest parts of gestation. I'm sure there's going to be new roles for intravaginal culture in the future. We continue to discover niche utilizations of this device, and it's good to have this in our armamentarium of places we could possibly go when we don't want to pursue what's traditionally known as conventional IVF.